Raiders of the Lost Stone. The fifth and last stone of finitude lay hidden deep in the underground. But Talia and the digging evil weren't the only ones stretching their greedy claws out for it, for the dwarf queen Brynhild was extremely interested in it.
Give your orders.
Time to get my wee machine going here and get me that last trinket before that dark elf lass grabs it.
That stupid dwarf again. This is slowly turning into a running non-gag. But okay, let's cut it short. These incredibly long intro and outro sequences are going to drive people crazy. Narrator, what do I have to do?
Now that's such a direct question. Talia had to reach the Stone of Finitude before the Dwarf Queen could grab it. The latter had procured a modern mining machine.
Oi! What's wrong now? What's wrong with the damn thing now? Hello? Maintenance? The drill isn't working. What? Yeah! I already tried turning it off and on, you jokers! Oh, wait a minute. I was wrong. It was just the plug that was loose. Someone must have unplugged it while cleaning. Okay, not another word about it. Let's move on.
Well, you see, the dwarves had a powerful drill. Now, where were we?
Okay, all right. I think I know what to do. We dig out the stone. Consider it done.
I'm getting the feeling you're out to take my job right now.
Let's go, creatures. Get those pickaxes ready. Dig your way to the stone and refill my cocktail glass.
The rarely rich stone and greystone, which necessitated some important little snot research. The vexed evil had some brimstone dug up. Unfortunately, the subsequent explosion exposed the home of some lava lumps. Your army has just decreased in size due to deaths. The dwarves' drill had already travelled a quarter of the way to the Stone of Finitude. The digging evil had dug up some dwarves. These protected an ancient relic of the recently deceased Dwarf King Grimly. If Talia and the experimenting evil got their hands on it, they could use it to briefly make the underground visible.
That sounds incredibly practical. I hope we can take that thing with us into the next missions when we're done.
Unfortunately, it was impossible to move because it was powered by dark matter, which was so heavy that no one could lift it.
That was clear. Oh, whatever. Onward, creatures! Beat the dwarves to a pulp! Grab that thing and read the user manual so I don't have to.
You have lost a creature forever.
There are enemies in your dungeon.
You have unearthed a new area in the dungeon. The drill's energy dropped to an alarmingly low level. With so little energy, it made very, very slow progress.
She's not gonna get up.
Your throne room is under attack.
The glorious evil had used research to improve its little snot's tools. These could now effortlessly dig through stone and rock. The researching evil had improved the little snot's tools. Henceforth, they would even be able to dig through greystone. One of your creatures has bit the dust.
Oi! What's wrong with this thing now? We're out of bloody energy? Lads, did one of you unplug the charging cord from my drill so you could charge a damn radio? Oi! I need an energy shipment here, lads. And I mean, as of yesterday. So get your arses in gear!
While that stupid dwarf bitch is busy whining, we can just head on over and pick up the Stone of Finitude. Forward, creatures! Dig those rocks, dig those tunnels, and collect dwarf beards as trophies.
Manivores have been discovered in your dungeon. Ding dong, it's payday.
Enemies have entered the dungeon.
The dwarven relic from King Grimly was now in the clutches of Talia and the conscienceless evil. From now on, it would be possible for them to lift the veil of darkness in the dungeon for a short time.
Resupply, lads. This great bloody drill is they fitted with a hand crank.
One of your creatures has died. You've dug into a spider room. Your little snots have dug up a spider. the exposing evil used the ancient dwarven relic and made an area of the underground visible. Who knows what might lie hidden there? You have discovered an artifact. Your little snots have dug up a spider. Enemies have entered the dungeon.
Come on, come on, come on! We can't let a few stubby-legged dwarves snatch the Stone of Finitude.
Talia and the lethargic evil had let one of the energy shipments reach the dwarven drill. Bursting with energy, it now...
There we have it. Finally, I have seen all 7 dragon Nonsense. 5 infinity stones of finitude.
Psst, we don't want to get sued again. Anyway, Talia and the happy evil now had all 5 stones of finitude. This brought them one big colossal step closer to Tanos's destruction.
Exactly. Now we just quickly insert them into the gauntlet and then we can get this show started. Oh, somehow I lost the spear I was going to put Tanos's head on along the way. Oh well, but I think I'll just make a new one.
The Rune Sockets of Finitude. Part 1. Talia and the digging up the countryside evil had been able to get...
How did I get here? What are we doing here? I thought we were just going to put the stones in the gauntlet.
Talia and the stone-snatching evil had all 5 stones of finitude together. For these to be mounted into the gauntlet of finitude, they would first have to be inserted into the ritual rune sockets of finitude.
What? What's this bullshit? Tristan just inserted the damn things into the gauntlet?
No, you just didn't see that sequence. It happened off screen.
The hell he did? I watched him do it myself. Okay, I suppose there's no way I can get out of this. And did I hear you correctly earlier when you said part 1?
Each of the stones had to be taken to its corresponding rune socket. Talia and the not getting wound up about artificially prolonged game time evil set to work.
Well, I'm sure as hell pissed off about this lousy plot twist. It almost looks like someone wanted to get a few more levels in just because there were 20 missions in Dungeons 3. And now, just because someone is afraid of a few bad reviews, I have to put in an extra shift. Well, thanks a lot, you out there. But hey, what the hell? Let's get going. Show the goonless developers that we can jump through a few extra hoops on top of everything else. Onward, creatures! Find those rune sockets. Get the normal stones, the non-rune stones there, and let's finally put this freaking thing to bed!
Manivores have been discovered in your dungeon. Manivores have been discovered in your dungeon. Payday. A few manivores have appeared in your dungeon. Your little snots have dug up a spider. In order not to make things too easy for Talia, the storytellers had decided to have heroes appear here far from any civilization to attack the dungeon. Story intrinsic logic was something that happened to other people. Enemies have entered the dungeon. Tanos' fanatical fighters grew stronger and stronger. In order to defeat them, the leveling evil's creatures had to become even stronger.
Easy for you to say. Someone capped the maximum level at 10. The nerve!
This was only partially correct. Actually, the demonic Vault of Might offered the ability to raise the maximum level. The secretly leveling its creatures above the maximum level evil immediately tried it out.
Oh, yeah, you can bet your sweet Bippy we're going to try that out. How come you only tell us something like that right before the end, just when the final battle is practically about to begin?
It's called an arc of suspense.
A couple more of your little catchphrases, and I'll suspend you over a gorge. But whatever. Hop to it, little snots. Make some space for a Vault of Might. Ha 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 ha!
Your little snots have dug up a spider. manivores have been discovered in your dungeon. Payday! Creatures are collecting their pay.
There are enemies in your dungeon.
A creature has become livid with rage.
A creature has become livid with rage.
Manivores have appeared in your dungeon. Manivores have been discovered in... The distracted evil was, well, distracted. It tried to focus again and set about unearthing the rune sockets with the stones of finitude.
It's payday.
A carriage filled with heroes on home leave sped across the map. Intercepting this would definitely yield some evilness. A new area of the dungeon has been discovered. That all went a mite sluggish. I wish there was a speed boost or something like that. Oh, wait. That's exactly what this stone of finitude is for. Enemies are in the dungeon. carnivores have appeared in your dungeon. A few lone heroes trudge somewhat unmotivated through the countryside. The evilness-generating evil would be only too happy to intercept these unfortunate individuals. Payday! Creatures are collecting their pay. One of your creatures has bit the dust. Your little snots have completely mined out a gold vein. Enemies have entered the dungeon. payday. You have unearthed a new area in the dungeon. A gold vein is almost exhausted. The multi-billionaire Mellon Woofit Bates had decided to distribute his savings amongst the poorest in the country. One of these shipments just happened to be passing by very close to the dungeon. Man-of-wars have appeared in your dungeon.
There are enemies in your dungeon.
Payday! Creatures are collecting their pay. The unfocused evil had still not unearthed the rune sockets. It took heart, vowed to do better, and set about finally unearthing them. A small convivial troop of heroes marched across the landscape, dreaming of a great quest and completely unaware of the absolute evil's dungeon. The sniffing around the underground evil's creatures had discovered one of the rune chambers, in the center of which was one of the rune sockets. Using the hand of terror made placing the stone there child's play.
Rune chambers, rune sockets, non-rune stones. Oh, creativity must have gone into overtime there, huh?
The frantically button-pushing evil could now place the first stone of finitude in a rune socket and unleash its powers. A stone once placed could no longer be removed.
Okay, so it's important to pick the exact bonus we need most right now. Phew, strategic decision. I'm more of a head-through-the-wall person myself. Well, so, just the first thing that comes to mind and on we go.
The first stone of finitude was placed and began to shine in the base of the rune socket.
Wonderful, then let's move on. I still have something important to do.
Why? Do you have another appointment?
You betcha. Hello? Tanos, head, spear, ring any bells?
The Stone of Health manifested its power to the healing evil. From now on, it could cheerfully have its creatures regenerate. payday.
There are enemies in your dungeon.
You have unearthed a new area in the dungeon. A few lone heroes trudged somewhat unmotivated. The power of this stone of finitude allowed all creatures to slowly regenerate over time. Payday. The power-hungry evil had erected a vault of might with a pylon. Each pylon increased the maximum level of all creatures by 1.
I'll be back. I'm back again.
Enemies have entered the dungeon.
The sound of a traveling gospel group resounded across the countryside. If the cruel evil had its way, this time there would be no encore. Enemies have entered the dungeon. payday. Creatures are collecting their pay. The Digging Evil's creatures had discovered another rune chamber in the underground. Your little snots have dug up a spider. Your little snots have dug into a spider nest. Another rune chamber has been discovered. The Digging Evil's creatures had discovered another rune chamber in the underground. Another rune chamber has been discovered. A carriage filled with heroes on home leave sped across the map. Intercepting this would definitely yield some evilness. The second stone of finitude had been placed. Only 3 more stones waited to take their proper place. The stone of efficiency was now at the effective evil's disposal. From now on, its runes would be able to work much more effectively. The third stone of finitude was placed. 2 more stones needed to be placed. The stone of damage was now in the damaging evil's arsenal and could be used to strengthen its creatures. The 4th stone of finitude was in place. Only 1 more stone had to be placed before the gauntlet could be charged.
Wait a minute. What do you mean, could be charged?
I think it's better if you just wait and see.
Ah, that does not bode well.
The 5th stone was placed in the corresponding rune socket. The ritual could begin.
I knew it! Not only have I now wasted so much time dragging these damn stones around everywhere, no! Naturally, this nonsense is just going to keep going on forever! Let me guess what the next mission's about.
Well, of course, it could well be that there were heroes who would try to disrupt the ritual. A certain dwarf queen somehow comes to mind.
Oh, of course, that makes sense. If you have to buy yourself some more game time somewhere, then you might as well do it right. The keyboard torturing hack cobbling this story together better hope I never get my hands on him.